the green ones at?
She might not even be.
You can't hear,
I can hear myself.
but you can't hear us.
I can hear you too.
So what is you talking about?
Dog.
He can't hear nobody.
No, I hear all y'all, but I don't hear her.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Dog, you bugging.
Oh my
Alright,
gosh.
when you don't hear her vocals.
Hey, priest.
What? Oh, there you go.
He's about to answer you. He said,
Hold on, man. Hold on. Okay.
oh
Oh, like
gosh.
you didn't even give me a chance to get in my seat, man. Rewind that back.
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you wanted me to tape it for you.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Can I get a replay, dog? Like usually, like you know what I'm saying?
all right. Dang, man. I'll give you a replay.
Usually, just I wait for you to sit back, set the mood.
All right, you got 10
Dang,
seconds.
here we go. The last time I talked about when we got in the club, you know, it's like a movie. Put it together. Let me sit back and relax.
Can I put this on live?
Yeah, there you go.
Please put it on live.
You know he wants you to.
We need all people to see this craziness.
Come on. Here we go. Walked about the club with me and Doc. 2 chicks straight on the jock. Tiff come around the corner, what's up? I'm like these groupies, Tiff, man, what the 2 dudes and the chick coming through. They groupies and you know they feeling you. They want anybody up in the crew. Stop tripping, fame come with Tiff. Come on, boo. Just glide. And you know we gon' slide.
What?
Here is coming. 100 miles and running. You can't run from this cause it's gonna
It has
catch
to
up.
be over.
2 dudes and the chick and you know
okay.
what's
I'm
up.
like, it has to be done.
Come on.
Yo, this is what kind of night it's gonna be. Okay.
I
got it.
Man, I was prepared for rap, but he put on something.
was
Smooth
extra
and
groovy.
groove. You know what I mean? I tried to be. Like I said, I don't know what he throwing on, so I let the music be my vocals.
Is
And
that what it is?
That's what it is.
Okay.
So look,
What's up?
I picked that beat intentionally because I knew Chantel was gonna be here, and something told me that it was a Chantel-ish beat.
Really?
But then I was like, this chick gonna throw Priest D.
Man, I was ready to rap. Hey, I was ready to rap. I had what I was gonna rap about, and it came smooth. So I said, okay, let's switch it up. But
Oh my God! All right,
let's get this started, man.
let's get it started.
Thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy Double S, Slim and Sexy, Double S CD, Slim Sexy Celine Dion, PWT, Pretty White Teeth. But Chantel know me as Priest Daddy riding in the caddy, long leg daddy.
Does she?
Sorry,
do
lady,
I?
sorry, ladies, for keeping y'all waiting. Go ahead and say what's up to Daddy.
It'd
Hey,
be funny when nobody here, but when
What's
we
up,
have
ladies?
guests, I'd be like, dang.
Like almost
Like-
embarrassed.
Like, what is their initial impression of
Yeah,
us?
like,
come on.
gosh.
This Dr. IJ.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Tiff.
And we have a special guest in the house today. Came down from the V.
BALLEJO.
What's up, y'all? Is Esta Ladybug,
Tripping.
the fly girl, creative entrepreneur who created an empowerment tour funded by Custom Crochet Couture. Somebody you definitely want to follow for sure.
Heard that.
Damn.
Wow.
Tell him.
Hey, she just cut me off. I was
Wow.
gonna say, that was
She
so
got her
fly.
own introduction.
Yes,
I just
for
said
real.
Chantel. She just hopped on in. Okay,
Yeah.
hey, I ain't
Okay,
mad. Do what you
hello.
do.
I see.
I see. We
Listen,
ain't gonna have a
I
shy
don't
guest
know
tonight.
that you're gonna be able to focus with the game on.
Yeah.
You talking to me?
I am absolutely talking to you.
I can focus with
Because
the
you
game
just
on.
slid in, man, they tripping. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
I won't
I
say
don't
nothing
know.
else. I promise.
It's not about you not saying nothing else.
It's
It's
being-
that
you
you
being
won't
in the
be
room with us.
focused.
No, I'm gonna be focused
And
on
promised.
what's
Wow.
in the room.
Hey.
Okay, we'll see.
We got
it's
guests.
all-
Now I need you
oh,
to act right.
Jesus.
See, look.
Hey, just pause it. Pause it. Pause it. Pause it. Tiff, pause it. Pause it, Tiff.
He just He just hit a 3 and just my whole,
He ain't going nowhere after this. He gonna be here for another hour after we
my
done
whole
recording.
wife just.
You failed.
All right, whatever.
You failed. What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Sure, for sure.
How we gonna get it started? You got a wrap up for us?
A roundup.
Roundup.
Yeah. So what's going on right now is the whole Aisha Curry Red Table Talk conversation. Is the mic not on? Got it?
It's on, but
That's what Brandon was talking about.
Now everybody want to say something.
it's this. Y'all keep going. I'll figure it out.
She good. I
I'm
can
glad you're back in the game, bro.
Hear. Yeah, I can hear.
Right. So the whole so
That was
she
a
was
slight insult there. Y'all gonna let her be a guest in your house and just talk to me like this?
But we were talking about the Warriors game, and I was just talking about this one, sir.
Y'all keep going.
all right. So the Currys was on the Red Table Talk. Man, that's
Was it
like,
good?
That's like a really. It is like a legit basketball family. So
They all pretty.
they all light skinned too.
They is all light
So do
skinned.
that
They
make them
all light
pretty?
skinned.
That ain't
Hold
what
on,
make
hold
them
on.
pretty.
That make them
I
pretty.
mean, they
That's the
literally
first,
are all
That's
light
the first thing
skinned.
y'all
That
said. They
ain't what
light
make 'em pretty.
skinned and they pretty.
I just thought that they were
Can I
all
say
light skinned.
Aisha number 4 though?
To who?
Well, she's not really a Curry, so
To me, I'm just in. I mean, 2 of them wasn't really Currys. They curried by marriage.
so check it. So the mom and the dad, right? When she talks, I didn't really expect for her to talk the way. I've never really heard her talk before.
Who?
Mama
Mama Curry.
Mama look good.
looked bad.
Yeah, she
Banging.
talks though.
How old is the mama?
She's
Old enough to get it.
61.
I need you to look like
Oh,
that.
no, she not. She too old to get it.
Ours is 51.
It's
I think it's 61.
It has to
gotta
be
be 60
61.
'cause
It's
Steph is-
61.
I
Steph
need
is
you to
30.
look like
So
that.
they're
61.
married, right? They've been married for 30 years. Steph's dad was a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Stephen Curry is a basketball player. His brother Seth is a basketball player.
Can I say they're so
And then-
whack with them names? Steph
Yeah.
and Seth.
And then the daughter, I forgot what her name was, but the daughter just married a basketball player. And then Seth just got engaged to Doc. What's his name? Doc
Rivers.
Rivers' daughter.
Oh, serious?
They just got engaged
Oh, that's
like
dope.
the other day. So it's like a legit
I didn't know
basketball
that.
family.
Yeah, that is.
The conversation was good. Everybody is blowing up. Do you watch the Red Table Talk?
I didn't watch the Red Table Talk, but
You seen
I
it.
normally watch BuzzFeeds.
Right. So they're just taking this one little insert that she said. It's
She
like
wants to get attention from guys.
right. It's like when you read a Bible verse, you just read one verse, but you don't like keep going, or you didn't read the one before to kind of like put it in context. So what did you guys think when she said that?
Oh, you buzzing. I got that you good. I got that she need attention.
You got that she needs attention.
She wants attention from other dudes. That's what I got. Like,
That's what you got.
why are you so concerned? Wait, first of all, give me the quote because I want to make sure I got it right. What was the quote?
Well, what did you think the quote
The
was?
quote was something like, "He get DMs and I don't get DMs from other dudes."
Okay,
Is that right?
close enough.
So you gonna leave me hanging like that? What is it?
I'm looking it up, man.
I'm
Can
just
you give
saying,
me a
but
second?
whatever you heard,
All right.
what did you feel?
She said something that really bothers me and honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, there are all these women like throwing themselves at him, but me, like the past 10 years, I don't have any of that.
Right.
I have zero. This sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
Right.
Yes, you're
That's
number
saying
4.
that she's insecure and she needs attention. That's what I took from that.
What you get from it?
I took she need to stop hanging around with them Curry women because, of course, you're not gonna get no attention hanging around with them.
What you get out of that?
Well, like I was kind of saying before we started, is that she been with Curry so long. I mean, shouldn't say Curry, but we all know Miss Curry.
Right.
So long. I mean, you know, even just being on a View and she's telling Vivica like, oh yeah, I remember meeting you and I was like 15, 16. We shot Joanna
So
Man
you
at
saying
the
I
house.
give her a pass to like?
I'm not
She
saying
ain't saying nothing. You let
want
her
some
say
new
what she
pipe?
had to say
I
yet.
haven't said it yet.
Okay, go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
Please.
But what I am saying is that, you know, for her, it's almost like she lives in a fishbowl. She's married. They have 3 kids. She has a certain kind of brand that they put out for her, I would say. And it's heavily, you know, centered around her being this power woman. But no one stops to ask her how you feel about things. I mean, and just being a mom, she has to go through a wife. 2 levels of postpartum potentially, and things that she think about. And like, she's married to a basketball player,
right?
You know, he's traveling all the time, and she can't be there all the time. And so, like, it is an attention thing. Like, you know, you get in a relationship because you like the companionship,
right?
Your kids can't fulfill something that a man or your man does.
Exactly.
So I think that maybe that's where her comment may have come from.
I get it. I completely get it. It makes
You
sense.
get.
I get that. No matter, even if you're in a relationship or...
Oh, you insecure about her saying that?
Nah, I'm saying she got
I
young
feel
Prince
like...
Daddy riding the caddy. You know what I'm
my
saying?
God.
When you got something like this, you straight.
But you're also at home.
Huh?
You're also here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She don't get nothing.
You missed the point.
No, I'm just
Right.
messing with you. Go ahead.
So
Speak your mind.
I get it, because I feel like as women, we want to be wanted. Rather, I might not want you back, but it's just good to know that, oh, okay, I still got it. Oh, okay. Because I'm with my man, you know, we become complacent and it's the norm. Like, you may not tell me, ooh, you looking good, or, you know what I'm saying, as much or as often. And on top of that, you have millions of trolls after you that could be cuter than me, I just had a baby, could have a better body than me, could just have a whole lot of stuff that I might feel that I am lacking. It doesn't matter. You know, they're always there. But just to get like no attention, it's like, do you see me? Am I here? Like, you know?
So do you think that's a lack on Steph end or just everything?
I think it's just. I think it's just is what it is.
I mean, they have built her brand around like wholesomeness. They have not built her brand on sexy.
Right.
So,
I never thought sexy when I think about her.
right. You don't think sexy.
But I don't
so,
think about sexy when I think about him either.
But okay, did they build the brand around her, or is that just her? And now she's feeling that like that vibe, and she need to switch it up.
it may just be her.
It may just be her,
But
like,
the-
I don't
you.
think she's
the
saying
result
I
of it
want to
is,
be
is that
sexy.
I don't think men don't necessarily respond to wholesome in the same way they respond
But
to
you know,
sexy.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Do you?
I was just going to say, this is a good point. So I'm a co-owner in a branding company, and it's called Story to Brand, right? And one of the things that we always tell our clients as they're building their business, they don't build their brand first, which is a misstep. Because if you're going to build your business isn't going to be as successful as you want it to be. But if you don't lay your foundation of what story you want to tell, then you find yourself in a situation like her. Because if your brand was just to be successful, she's successful.
She's very successful.
If she wanted to be everywhere, she's everywhere. But if she didn't stop and think about what does Aisha want, that could be the reason why she's in this place now of saying, well, damn, I haven't even had an opportunity to think about what I actually need. If it's about I'm going to be here support of you. Because technically, like, what she has and what they have together is that they've been able to build something together, which normally, in most cases, basketball players get successful and then they get the woman, right?
But she was there first.
She's been there.
Right.
And
But
so
she talked about that, though. She talked about how it's important for her to basically find self and know what she wants to do and set up her businesses and just not get so engrossed with her kids and her husband, because it's so easy to do, and you can completely lose yourself in them. Because she was like, your kids are gonna leave, and then what are you gonna do? She's like, so I want to be able to keep moving and keep living. Basically, that's what I got from what she was saying.
Do you relate to her more because you're a stay-at-home mom, and what she's saying in this, and how everything you just said?
As far as what
she just said, she can get too involved with the kids.
I think that's just a mother, period. We give so much of ourselves to our husband and our children that it is, for me, I'm a good example. I'm the last. I am the last on the list for all things.
But that's you putting yourself in that position. That's like,
regardless of who puts me there, I'm there. I'm just saying it's just a natural thing for mothers to do that.
okay, this is not going to become Dr. Phil. We're going to talk about it on another level. Let's talk about Michelle and Obama. Let's use that as a caveat. of
Yeah,
this
I feel like they
conversation.
have a good.
But her book Becoming, she was able to tell her
Yeah,
real
we're supposed to read
stories.
that.
Yeah, we supposed to read that next.
Oh.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, well, in the book, I'm not going to say anything about that, but
Go
she,
ahead.
You can get a spoiler.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
ain't,
Totally
ain't nobody
fine.
here tripping.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
well,
Please.
she gets to talk about, you know, like just her being in position where she has this opportunity to be, you're the first lady, but she wanted to build a brand around it as well to be able to give back in a certain way.
Right.
Because, again, thinking about, okay, we're not going to be in the White House longer than probably this next term.
Right.
We have 8 years here, and then what?
What's next?
And so in the book, she talks about, you know, she made mandates like, Barack, you need to be here for dinner or we're going to start without you. You know, like, you need to be here for this or this is what's going to happen. And just, you know, and then also building her calendar. She built her calendar around what she needed to do first before she started putting her stuff
Adding
on
the
for the
kids
kids and
and-
all the different scenes, you know, like go-sees that she had to go do and all the
Yeah.
meetings that she may have to have. She built it around herself because at first she didn't. And she found herself like in this space of being inundated of just the rigmarole of just being a first lady.
Yep. That makes so much sense.
See, I don't think it's an issue with Curry. I think if you look at Curry's mom, right, like she was a no-name until Curry became famous. Like when the son became famous, he shined the spotlight on everybody, which meant that
Wait, so their dad wasn't a big
Nah.
basketball
nah, he
player?
wasn't big
Yeah.
like that. You
he
know
was
what I mean?
kind of like Seth.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yep.
So
Or he was like Curry when he was in college.
yeah,
Because Curry wasn't a nobody
Curry.
until like
I mean,
Till he
yeah,
a
became
minute ago,
somebody,
right?
yeah.
right. But his stardom has shined the spotlight on the whole family. So I
Right.
think, you know, from that spotlight came access to like her YouTube videos and the cooking stuff that she was doing. And so now she's just as much of a
she's
public
definitely
figure.
used the platform
and star.
to her advantage for sure.
Exactly. But with that is you were planning on being like Steph's mom. You were planning on being like a housewife
How do you know that?
because they had no way of anticipating that Curry would be this big.
That don't mean she was just gonna be a housewife.
Whatever her plans I'm sure didn't involve like we're just gonna be uber famous on a whole nother level where my husband and my family and my kids, remember them first couple of years in the playoffs when his kids was at the podium with him, is like that brought a whole nother spotlight. So I think what she's speaking to is I'm in a different realm now in terms of notoriety, yet I'm not getting that fanfare in terms of men desiring me that you would expect in this position.
Well, I think it's also like a level of definition of success. You know, like for some people, they consider success the money, the opportunities that come with it, and the attention.
She not
You
getting
know?
that.
And she's not getting
That's
the
what I'm saying.
attention.
She not getting
Yeah.
the attention
Right.
part.
And so I think that
So
maybe
that's
that may be it. If her definition is that, hey, listen,
I
made
agree
it.
100% right there.
If I made it,
Yeah.
that I need to have this attention from men. I need people sliding in my DMs so I
I
can
should
laugh
be,
about
I should
it.
be
Like,
getting everything that everybody else is talking about.
Everything that my husband is
all the
getting.
pipe pictures, all
Right.
the
Yeah.
spooky stuff, all
Right.
this like I'm dry over here.
Like I really feel
Yo,
like
what
that's
up?
what she was saying.
yeah.
yeah, I think that's what it is. You know, I think a lot of people
And I-
have an opportunity to take it somewhere else. Of saying, oh, she want niggas sliding in her DM and doing whatever.
I think she like way craving that though.
But as she should.
Why?
It's not about actually having it, but it's about
Yeah.
saying that I got this.
See, that's where it go left for me. Like,
But that's the reason.
Nah, man. Everybody,
It's just
bruh,
human nature.
Everybody want affirmation, just like
It's just human nature.
two dudes and a chick want affirmation from the folks who listen. Like we crave that when folks get in our
Let us
DMs
know.
and say like y'all dope. We love that. That's what
Yeah.
Aisha's saying is like she probably get a lot of women hitting her up saying like you dope. She like, can I get a couple dudes to say that too? Like that you dope and you know what I mean?
Especially
so
since
y'all
she's
think
been-
y'all think she just came too real and people just ain't feeling her realness?
No, I
No.
just think that anytime anybody makes a statement,
Yeah.
that it has to have some level of definition to go with it. Give it context. If it doesn't have context, then
you
people
leave,
slide.
what
it, you leave it
happens.
open for
You
everybody
leave it open
else.
for
and-
everybody
This is what
else.
happens.
Yeah, I just think people
But
were very interested in this conversation. And because
They were interested in the conversation, but didn't listen to the conversation.
right,
Just
and because of the way she presents herself, like folks are looking for every opportunity, I think, to put a chink in that family's armor.
Absolutely.
Kind of
Because
like Beyonce and Jay-Z.
exactly. So you can say a comment like that really don't mean nothing, but it's like, oh, Aisha want niggas, like, and it'd be
Yeah.
like,
So
nah,
do
y'all
y'all
just took
think
that.
so? Just given what y'all know about them, do y'all think she care enough to go back to clarify what she meant
She
or
did.
not? What she say?
I mean, she posted something.
What she say?
It's you really want me to read it?
Summarize. I mean, did you already read it already?
He
Like,
does.
nah, just summarize.
That
it.
was a yeah.
No, I'm saying summarize it. What she like? Did she say something like, "I don't want niggas like that. I'm good."
Okay,
Blah blah
here, just listen. Let's see. I really want to take the time to encourage everyone to speak their truth regardless of perception, fitting into a mold of offending someone, because it's your truth, and that's okay. If what I am not afraid to say out loud after being a 30-year-old mama of 3 helps another woman like me feel like they're not alone and not the only one with the insecurity, because we all have them, don't play, then that makes all of this hoopla worth it. If you get a chance to watch the actual real table talk and not the headlines and rumors, please do. There's so much more depth to talk, and our family is grateful for Jada, blah, blah, blah. As women, let's continue to uplift, empower, and not suppress and compress our feelings and thoughts. As fleeting as some of them may be, love you all. Go find your joy and speak your truth unapologetically.
We done done a lot of reading on this show so far. Hey, but let's not forget though, Jada said that she's felt the same way too.
Yeah.
Like, so
a
it's not
thing.
like
You
her.
can't be in a relationship when both of you guys are famous, or even if you're not famous and you're famous. And if somebody's getting so much love and so much attention, it's just like, am I invisible? You don't see me here? Like, you don't get that?
Yeah, I get it. It's cool.
He
It's cool. I'm like, all right.
he putting.
All that. I mean,
Exactly.
I get it. It's cool.
Cool.
I think
you
it-
done
I
with
think
it
it's-
now?
Yeah.
I think it's probably more common than we think, right? Especially when you've been with somebody.
It
for
kind
that
of
long.
remind me of like groups. Once that main superstar get the attention, everybody else start tripping.
I
And That's
don't-
when they want to shine, and
Bruh,
that's the first thing that I thought about.
I don't even think it's groups, bro. I think between a typical married couple who've been together for 20 plus
Oh,
years,
yeah, that's what I was
I
gonna
feel
say,
like the
too.
wife can or the husband, they both get to a place where they like, I know my partner love me. I know my partner find me sexy. It'd be nice to know that somebody other than my partner finds me sexy too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really what
Everybody wants to
she's
be wanted.
saying. It's just that they're on a grander scale. But
Yeah.
I mean, you like it when somebody be like, Priest D.
Oh my God.
Look, hey, wait.
Are you kidding me?
He just put on Instagram today that he lost 4
Man.
pounds. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Holding it
so
down.
come on now. You know. You definitely know.
All right, I can dig it. I'm with y'all.
Anyway, trick them. What y'all think about this whole 50 Cent and Tierra Marie?
I don't know. She was on Breakfast Club.
I know
I
I
ain't
have
got
to
to
watch her
see the
interview.
interview yet. But what's the deal? What's going on with them? Is this the one where he
Hella
punked the
molded.
dude?
What
Well,
she doing?
her ex-boyfriend.
You know what's up?
Hello. Come on, talk to
Yo,
us.
can we just say 50? 50 is the one.
Yeah,
He
don't
has
mess with
no-
50.
he's
Hey,
so
he petty as
petty.
hell.
Yo.
I
Petty
mean,
as
like,
hell.
Okay,
So
sidetrack.
petty.
When he posted the picture of, y'all remember Beauty and the Beast, the TV show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You remember how Beast looked?
Yeah.
When he did side by side with Wendy Williams and the Beast,
He be going any chance he can.
Hey,
he go in on
hey,
Wendy.
because
time
she
out.
tried to go in on
She
him.
goes
though.
in.
Hey, time out. Did you work for Def Jam or something like that?
For a minute.
Yeah, I know I wasn't tripping. I was like, I remember you. What was you doing for Def Jam?
I worked for Def Jam. I worked for Sony, and then I managed
Oh
Chris Brown.
shit! Now that you say it, never mind.
What?
Is it, bruh? It's just.
All coming back to you now.
No,
Like-
it's
like
not.
the Matrix.
It's not. It's not. When you said Def Jam, and I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at her smile, immediately Sanaa Lathan popped into my head, and Brown Sugar.
Tiffany, why you look like that?
I was trying to see it.
Yeah, so I was like,
Don't laugh at me.
So I do hear that.
Have you heard that before?
I do.
Come on now. She got the Snarlate, the look, and the hip hop. You know what I mean? Because she worked. Y'all feel me?
Okay.
Whatever, man.
But yeah, no, 50 released the video. Well, he reposted the video. And she was pissed off, so she decided she was going to sue him. But
Of all people, why would you sue 50 Cent?
Whitney be all. Is that her name?
no.
Whitney.
No.
Wendy.
No.
Wendy? Who
No,
are you talking
nigga.
about?
We're talking
Hey,
about
he
Tierra
He
Marie.
left.
I thought
He
we were
off.
on Wendy Williams.
He off.
Because he's watching this game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look. I seen
We
your
saw
phone,
it
dog.
already.
Like, everybody seen it.
Hey,
That's
hey.
what she was talking about. Dude,
Back
you
up.
see how off you is?
No, I'm on it. She said Wendy Williams.
And
Well,
then we left
I brought
that.
Wendy up because 50 like
And then
murdered
we
her.
talked about Tia Marie.
Okay, Tia Marie.
Tierra.
Tierra
Marie.
My bad. Tierra Marie.
Her ex-boyfriend or somebody.
Her
leaked,
ex-boyfriend videotaped
And
them
leaked
having
it.
sex.
right?
He released it. 50 got it and
yeah.
reposted it.
What is that called? When you do that?
Porn revenge? Or
Yeah,
something like that?
something like that.
revenge porn.
Revenge porn. And she sued 50 and then she lost. And now she owe him money. And boy, I tell you, he's been asking for it.
Really?
And she made a song about it, talking about I ain't got it.
Yeah, I ain't got it.
He's like, run me that money.
Yeah,
Run
like-
me
Because he
my
actually had to go to
bread.
court.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't mad at him. I just know about the Fofty from
Yeah,
the
that
white
was
dude
funny.
that called him Fofty
What
instead
is
of
that? I
50.
seen that.
That was,
It was
funny.
some white dude that owed him money, called him Fofty instead of 50. So he made the Fofty shirts and then told dude like, I'm gonna keep trolling you until I get my money.
Dang.
And dude gave him his
He
money.
be having
and
time
then
for everybody.
He be the most. He's not the most. He's like almost as petty as that one basketball player that was married to Gloria's sister. What's her name? Is Arnez? What's his name?
Ron Artest? No.
No, not Ron Artest. So
Bruh,
you
man,
guys know
chill.
Gloria, right? Gloria.
Stefani?
No, Gloria, who's with Derek Fisher right now.
Yeah.
Her sister, Laura.
The
Yo,
one that was dealing with
Gilbert-
Oh,
what's
Gilbert
it?
Arenas.
Gilbert
Yeah.
There
Arenas.
you go.
He's hella petty too.
Yeah. He
On
hella
this
petty.
online thing, he's hella petty.
He
So
the
do
one
you
that
guys
took
feel
the
like
guns
people
in.
should have like friends telling them like, "Hey, let's not do that. Like, come on, chill. You taking it too far." Or it don't
if
matter.
if you petty like that, you need to just start that overnight.
You don't care?
You
Yeah,
being
yeah,
like
you
that.
know.
Yeah, like
And if
people
you
know
have
that's
money,
you. Yeah,
you just
people
keep
people
going.
know like like don't go there with him because you know he ain't gonna stop.
when
Like, this
I
ain't-
worked in DC, when I lived in DC, I used to work at this bar that was around the corner from, well, then it was MCI Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gilbert Arenas. He had like a what do they call it? Like when they come around to the tickets. He had the security people come
Mm-hmm.
and go to every one of his teammates' car and put pink slips on them so they all got boots during the game.
Dang.
I mean, he's been
Are
doing
you
stuff.
serious?
They were like legit pink slips. Wow.
And they had all their cars were on flatbeds.
God,
Oh,
no.
that's cold.
Hey, you know what I want to know, man? I know you got some interesting stories. I need to know why do I feel like I told you this in the text, but why do I feel like we went to school together? We went to junior high, right?
Vallejo
you,
Junior.
You went to Vallejo Junior, right? Okay, at 7th through 9th.
Oh, I went to Vallejo Junior too.
She don't remember you. She remember you.
Ejoma.
She
She don't remember you.
Young P Daddy riding in the caddy. But
But yeah, then I left and I went to Benicia.
okay, why you go to Benicia?
Kick it with the white folk.
You graduated from Benicia High. What year did you graduate?
What? Tell me about
01.
that. Why?
Oh, one.
Was
Oh.
that a
you
culture shock?
extra young.
No.
Going to Benicia?
Yeah.
I don't think going to Benicia from Vallejo is a culture shock.
Man, I just
Well,
seen
plus I was in a GATE program at FLL.
Oh, so
and
you was
Yeah.
already around.
Tell the truth.
Hey, you was already
You
around.
were nowhere near us.
Yeah. Yo, I brought up my report card. I was so ashamed. I was like,
Oh my god!
God, dog,
Like
man, like 1.8 the whole thing. I was like, how
that
did I
was really
graduate?
sad.
But I was far from Gate. So how did you end up going?
That's an understatement.
How did you end up going to Benicia?
Why is it so cold?
Because he didn't turn down.
Well,
Pound
I
72.
actually went to Hogan for 1 year,
Uh-huh.
and
Okay.
So you was my cousin HB. DC.
Especially going from Hogan to Benicia, it's not a big.
well, they just don't have any more classes for me to take, to be honest.
You you done
Are
outsmarted
you
the
serious?
school.
Like you was just like, I gotta go to a school that got classes.
Yeah, because I think maybe in 8th grade I started going to UC Berkeley like on Saturdays and then on in summertime. So
you just got that natural smart.
Wow. No wonder you have done all these amazing things.
That's what I said. I'm hella interested. Like, just tell me your
You
timeline.
sure you
like,
from
straight
Vallejo?
up. Like,
my timeline,
like,
'cause
okay.
this is-
At
this-
the high school, you wait. You
I
was
went
going
to Howard.
You were going to. Oh,
Okay.
and I'm taking my
Hey,
son.
do you know?
I'm taking my son.
I have so many questions now.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I
I'm
went to
taking
Howard.
my son to a Howard trip next
For his
year
13th birthday.
Oh, dope.
for his 13th birthday. That's where we want him to go.
Do you still believe HBCUs is the way to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have both experiences. I went to Stanford as well. And
Wait a minute.
I told you.
What? Hold up.
I told you, man.
Rewind that back. Huh? Don't just drop that
she
like.
She went to
Somebody smarter
Berkeley,
in the room.
Howard.
No, wait, hold on.
Smashing.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Smashing
We got
on you,
someone who went to
doctor.
better schools. Let's not say smarter. Let's get it straight. Come on. Don't forget who the creme de la creme. Let's
Come
not
on
forget
now,
who
doctor.
the paterfamilias. Calm
Hey,
down.
we got a scientist in the room. I know you heard her drop that.
We don't have a scientist. in
Hold
the room.
on. Come on now.
What's your degree in?
biology and chemistry.
You know, man, it's interview over, man. I'm tired of this interview already.
Why you gotta be tired of me?
Yeah, because you in here trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
big
hey,
words too.
hey, and she was bossing up on them like, you unprofessional nigga. I came here on time, nigga. You ain't set up.
Nah,
wasting
for
my
real,
time.
man.
I done drove down here
I feel
for
like
an
y'all
hour.
need to vet our guests better. You know what I'm
That
saying?
is
Like,
man.
hecka funny.
y'all need to
Hey,
vet.
look.
Y'all done brought, you
I
know what I'm
love it.
saying?
Hey, look, nah, I've been following her for a long time and just seeing her in a hella different stuff. That's why I'm like, yo,
I thought y'all went to school together.
we did, but I
I
feel
mean,
like
high school and stuff.
I thought I did.
I
That's
thought-
what-
But you know what's crazy? Everybody thinks I went to Vallejo High.
I was like, that's why I said, didn't we graduate together? She was like, no.
not only
I
did
was
you not
like,
graduate together, but you
like-
graduated a few years before her.
what year you graduated?
Oh,
She
one.
graduated in 01. They're not listening.
So
Yes. Yes, because once she said 01, I was like, our paths have never crossed in life. So why you got a familiar face?
why you gotta feel me your face?
I'm
Why I
blaming
feel
it on
I know
Sanaa.
you?
That's what I'm
This
blaming
is
the familiarity
crazy.
That
on.
is so.
But nah,
I've
but
been
like,
looking at you since loving basketball. I've been a fan, you know what I'm saying? Nice to meet
You
you.
get that
somebody
a lot?
got a crush.
I used
but,
to.
But like I was saying, like I seen her in so many
Wait,
different. Come on, man. Hey, be professional. Hey, look.
I'm just trying to sneak that in a little low, thinking I'm watching the game.
Come on, man. Hey, chill. Hey, look.
Chill.
Hey, look. I seen her in.
We gonna have problems,
I seen her
man.
hands in so many different things, and I was like, man, she gotta have an interesting story. From the yarn to I remember seeing her in Def Jam. I remember seeing her around hella stuff. I'm like, all right, I need to know what's going on, man. That's why I say I need a timeline. And I'm gonna interrupt you every time. So just let's get into it.
So we went from Howard. You
Hold on,
dropped
so-
that bomb, but go back to Howard.
Go
and
back,
then
go
from
back to
there.
where you start doing all this gay stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So like,
That's too far back.
no,
Start at-
I need to know,
Far
man.
back. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Man, if you don't pause that, please.
Sorry, but they're down by 1 point.
Man, nah, pause that,
No,
please.
they up by 1 point.
I'm
Pause
talking
it.
about.
Pause it. Hey, y'all
All
rude.
right,
Come
go
on.
ahead.
So went to Howard.
No, but you said you was going to Berkeley. Why you was
UC
going?
Berkeley. In,
why you was
in
going
high
to?
school.
She was in
High
the 6th
school?
grade.
So how did that work out? Like, how did you end up?
It's a program called Early Academic Outreach Program.
And how did you get into that?
Yeah, smart
She's
parents.
smart.
Okay, we gonna be a smart. Okay,
It was somebody in the community there.
You
like,
got a
oh,
mama
you know.
and a daddy, huh?
I do.
You's got a mama and a daddy, huh?
But you know, like I would say, like I'm a Vallejo kid. My entire family was raised in Vallejo. I mean, they came from different places, but my dad is the youngest of 13. So
Damn.
people know like my uncles, and you know, I had 3 aunts who taught in Vallejo Unified School District. They were math teachers and English teachers. So like, and then being the youngest of 3, I have 2 older brothers. Like, I think I was the one that was just like, even if I tried to go to like a party and be out, and they're like, "What you doing out?" Like some of my
Right.
brother's friends would be like, "What you doing out?" And I'm like, oh, okay.
Because you
So
know,
it was
Vallejo,
like-
everybody know everybody.
Yeah, and like I remember like there was times where I'll be at a party, they're like, "Get in the car, I'm going home." So it just, I think the decision was kind of made for me. Kind of leads up to the work that I'm doing now. But you know, I went to Howard, like I said, and during that time I was pre-med. And while on campus, I was introduced to so many dope things, because I think the culture shock was not going to school with all black people or being in that kind of scenario, but it was a matter of, I felt like it was the first time I was like in school with everybody who was a unicorn at their school. Like being black, being, you know, top of your class, being okay with being smart. It felt like everybody I went to school with at Howard was that. So to answer your question about how it feels about like going to a HBCU, when you hear that part, and then you know like the historical facts that go with that, of understanding like the people who are our ancestors are the ones who kind of like laid the foundation for the shoulders we're standing on now, that is what kind of intensifies the experience, because it's like it forces you to be in a mindset of like, I'm great, but this school was built by other great people and I get to be a part of it.
Other people
Right,
that look like
right.
me.
Other people that look like me, and you know, one of the other reasons why I chose to go to Howard was a different world.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I did get into,
You don't like that show. I think that show was amazing. I
He's a
love that
hater.
show.
He's a
I got
hater.
into a lot of schools, but Howard was my focus.
What
I'm
schools,
sure
what
you
school-
got into
what schools did you
Every
get
school
into?
she applied to.
Don't, man, why y'all want to ask?
Those schools
That
did you go
has
to?
no
Like,
bearing on the interview.
man,
Don't
I'm
answer
so
that question.
Every
interested.
school she
She got into
applied to,
Howard.
she got into.
She got into Howard. We don't need to know what your
top
whole
three.
list
Give me your
was.
top 3.
Well, you know, Stanford was one of them, which is why I ended up going back. But one of my reasons of even going to Stanford while I was at Howard was that my cousin played basketball, and I wanted to go to a D1 school and watch basketball games.
Damn. You was a scholarship?
To which one? To any of them?
Which?
So I got scholarships at other colleges, but not Howard. But I
Okay.
was able to work and get scholarships when I got there.
Okay.
Okay.
So it kind of worked out. But yeah, so Stanford was cool too. Like my partner that I run a business with, our branding company, we met at Stanford. It was during the time that Issa Rae and Jadena were there. So it was like a good core group of people. Great experience. That's actually the reason why I actually got into the music industry.
For real? Through who? Jatender?
I was sitting on campus and this guy walks up and I was listening to music on the grass studying, and he just like kind of was standing in my shadow, and I kind of like looked up. It was this white guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I noticed you like music." And I've always been taught to be polite.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, I actually love music. And he was just like, well, what do you think about, you know, a job where you just get to listen to music? You get paid really great for it. And I was like, that sounds like something
Sounds
I'd be
good.
into.
So just a random white dude.
Yeah.
He was trying to get
I was
them
wearing
girls.
these Sony headphones, and it turned out he worked for Sony.
Dang.
And I started
okay.
working for Sony at Stanford. And it just kind of changed things, because I was...
What was you doing for
Wait,
Sony?
so did you go to Howard and then transfer into Stanford?
So what I did a dual program. And
I love every minute of this.
Why y'all find this so funny?
No, I'm just hey, it's more shocking than shocking. Like, God, dog. Like,
Yeah,
when
because-
you think you shocked, she drop another bomb, like just nuke a nigga. Like,
I should have
bah.
done them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because
This is so dope
being
to me,
at,
man. I love hearing this type of stuff.
Berkeley during high school, I was able to carry credits into college. And so when I started college, I ended up finishing my degree in 2 years.
Okay.
And so I entered like the MD, PhD program, and I was going to go into medical school. But so I finished undergrad in 2 years, and I was supposed to go into medical school after that, but I like
Change your mind.
decide to go a different
So you
way.
did 2 years at Howard, decided not to get your MD, PhD,
And
and
went
then
to
came to
Stanford.
Stanford to get another
Degree.
degree.
And then I went back to Howard to go walk with my friends.
Oh, that's dope.
And I worked.
Yo, I mean, the game is, you know what I mean?
And so I was able to start a science career during that time because I was like, well, okay, what am I going to do? I know I need to make money.
What kind of doctor was you planning on being?
A cardiologist.
The hell is that?
Heart,
Oh my
bruh.
gosh,
Okay,
Brandon.
go ahead.
You are now.
Go ahead.
Gosh.
I thought that's what it was, but I didn't want to be like.
You
"Is
should
it a
just
heart?"
stayed with
No.
that.
You know, you'd be like, "That's a heart doctor, right?" They'd be like, "No, it's
You
a foot
should ask
doctor."
later.
Yeah.
Like, Tiff,
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah, come
Text you
on.
on the side. I got
yeah,
y'all.
and I would have been like Dr. Burke
Okay.
from Grey's Anatomy.
There you go. All
Yeah.
right.
And so I did an internship at a hospital and I just,
One feeling it.
there were doctors, they were losing like patients like this 1 week. They lost like 3 patients back to back. And the conversation, I just didn't like how the rapport was with the family after that. They just kind of walked in and they're like, oh, well, we did everything we can do. Then they're just like,
You want to go have?
you want to go have lunch? And it was like,
Man,
whoa.
I
And
know
it was
that's
like,
a trip, but like I kind of get it though.
Like you can't
'Cause
take
you-
that home.
Yeah,
if
it is your
you-
job.
Yeah.
Bring that into your soul. That will tear you up because you're gonna lose patience.
Right.
That's just part of the job, for sure. There's gonna be some good days and bad days, but to hold all that and
Yeah.
like, you can't go in there and cry and be like, I did everything I could, like, cause that will make me feel some kind of way. My doctor crying, like, are you even capable of even doing the job? Like, what are you
Right.
crying for? So I feel
Yeah.
like you have to kind of be like that, because if you can't, you'll be in the state of depression all the time.
yep.
What were your 2 majors?
biology? and
Your
chemistry.
Okay, so you did biology at
He's just
Howard.
nervous because
and
you're
Kim-
probably smarter than him.
And
so now he's
first
like
of all,
asking questions.
First of all,
Hey, you got him feeling like
First
me in
of
the
all,
room.
you got him.
no,
You got him
feeling
doing
like-
the Aisha Curry.
don't believe the hype.
You have him insecure with his education.
Don't believe the hype.
Let's
Don't
see how
let
Doc
them
do
pump
around
you up.
somebody smarter than
Don't let
him.
them-
Come on.
You know what? Hey,
Come
y'all
on. Hey,
supposed to
nah,
be-
you usually the smartest dude in the room.
It's
you know,
fine.
Hey,
It's
hey,
okay.
you know what?
It's
all right.
fine.
Hey,
It's
I'm,
good.
I'm
It's
feeling.
fine.
I'm feeling.
I feel like this is payback for the
Nah,
phone
hey,
conversation.
no, it's not.
But I kept saying he
Hey,
was a
no,
pretty
it's not.
face.
Oh.
Hey, I'm just feeling her vibe. and
I
I'm
am
so,
too. It's
This
pretty
is so dope to me.
That's
pretty
fine.
dope.
Feel it,
Like-
right? I'm just
like-
asking a question.
Like she trumping your story.
So
but go
to
ahead.
answer your question, my
That in there.
at Howard it was biology with a math minor, and then I went to Stanford because I found out I was just a few credits away from finishing chemistry, and so I finished chemistry at Stanford. They're on a quarter system, so I got to finish the degree that I would have took 2 years to finish in just a few months.
Wow.
Damn. It's hard.
So you changed your mind about being a doctor.
Yeah, so when I went back to Howard, I ended up getting a job at NIH, which is National Institute of Health. And they gave me a lab, and I was like, for real? This is going to be dope. So I went back to school, and I just basically went in class, and I hired my friends, and we worked the summer together, and it was cool because we was on, this dope, like, campus as far as, like, NIH go, institution, and it was just, we got to do whatever we wanted to do, and we were running, like, summer programs for kids.
That's dope.
And so we got to do anything that pretty much I wanted to do. And so it was cool. And during that time, like, I got an opportunity again to kind of like just reflect. Kind of like similar to what I was saying at the hospital, just looking at the doctors. And I ended up working my way to what I felt like was my height that I can get into that building itself within like 2.5 years. And so I started looking around. Here I am, the youngest, only black girl in the department, and there's all these scientists who, I mean, for lack of a better like term, I was really gonna literally have to wait for them to die
To be able to
get in that
because
position.
they
Yeah.
weren't
They
retiring.
weren't going in nowhere.
Yeah, they locked in.
They're locked into the work, and
Yeah.
probably if they would retire, they probably would die anyway because that's their life work. And so during my time at Howard, it's actually when I started my fashion line freshman year because everybody knows Howard homecoming is like it,
Right.
and I wanted to be a part of it more than just being at school. And so I started crocheting around age 12, and I was talking to one of my homegirls at school, and she was just like, well, why don't you make bathing suits? I was like, that's a good idea. I'm gonna make bathing suits for the fashion show. And so it ended up being a big fashion show. And like right off, like after the show, I started getting calls from all these magazines.
Wow.
I worked with Erykah Badu and like all these different people. I was like just doing these shoots, and I got excited about that part. So even already in my mind, before I even left to go to Stanford, I was like already like, ooh,
Okay.
it's
That
fun
seed,
over
yeah.
here.
Seed had been
That's
in.
it,
Right.
yeah.
And so knowing that I was at the science lab, it kind of opens up some more space for me. And it was like I felt like it was a really good time because I'm working as a scientist, so I'm making like really, really great money. Then I was working with the kids, and I like fell in love with working with them. So I went to go teach at a school. And then for like the social hour, I bartended at the club that I was just saying. So like I was doing all 3 jobs at the same time, bringing dope, crazy money in. And I was just like, man, sky's the limit. Let me see what else I can do. And so that's when I started like going to New York to see how I can get a part of like some of the fashion shows. So I did Rip the Runway, and a few other things were just coming. Like I'll be on a train and I'll meet people and end up working with them later.
Wow.
Damn.
And so we all know that in New York, there's like a lot of Vallejo connections, just, you know, industry wise, or even just Bay Area, like Ebro's from SAC.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, I
so,
didn't know that.
Yeah.
and so my goal was to get my clothing on artists. So I used to kind of like kick it around the studios and kick it around like
Just
the
waiting
record
for the
labels.
opportunity.
And it was just like opening up.
How
up.
did you get in there to even be able to kick it in the studios?
You go like, because New York is a different space.
Uh-huh.
You go to the top party, you're going to meet everybody you need to be with. And then as
Okay.
far as like the industry goes, the industry is real tight knit. So once you meet a few people,
You in there.
and it was easy for me because I wasn't selling music.
Right.
I was just selling my presence. And so
Selling my
right.
presents.
I know you got so much game.
I like that.
When she
Selling my
said that, that's why I was
presents.
like, God, that's hard.
So that ended up, fast forward.
Hashtag.
Selling my presents.
I opened
I'm
up a
still in
store
that.
in DC, and I was doing the fashion shows in New York, and then I ended up locking in and landed a job in the industry. Had a choice to move to LA or move to Japan to do fashion, or go to LA to do music.
Wow.
I didn't go to Japan. This is
You
something
should've.
like, I know, something I think about all the time, but I'm about to work. I'm gonna work it out. I'm gonna make it happen now. But so moved to LA. Was working with Chris Brown.
What you was doing for Chris?
I was working on Well, I worked with Jamie Foxx first.
Mm-hmm.
So Jamie Foxx, which is cool because I was able to kind of like plug a few people like Derek and G when they
Yeah,
first
my
came down
cousins.
there.
Yeah.
I gave them one of their first opportunities to be on Foxhole.
Oh, that's hard.
And like G when he first came, he was like, "Yo, could we be on the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got you." I was like programming, so it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Yeah, let's do it."
Dope.
So yeah, that was cool, and that was just like my real like first official job in the industry. So for Jamie Foxx, I did the publishing stuff, and I had an opportunity to like create. We took the Foxhole, the show, like the series talk show, and made it into a live show. And so I was like booking all the talent for that, and it was like really, really good. Made some dope connections because it is Jamie Foxx, and
Right.
it was like I was working with
Right.
him during the Blame It on the Alcohol like era.
Oh, that's when he was like.
Oh, that's
poppin'.
CD hard.
So it was
too.
litty. Yeah, and so then I ended up, after leaving there, I started working with Chris, and so I worked on Look at Me Now and No BS. I did the Fame and Fortune album.
What were you
Fan of
doing with the
Fans.
albums? Like what? Like I know you say management, but what do managers actually do? Like you just
Everything.
Everything. Chris,
Like,
I
give
was
me
part
some
of like
examples.
really like the day-to-day stuff.
okay.
So it's like anything like from setting up sessions to finding music,
Mm-hmm.
finding talent. I mean, everything.
Okay.
Just imagine like your day, you know, outside of you putting on your shoes.
Right.
You know,
It's just
just to
walking
make sure
around,
everything
making sure
is
that
like,
everything is tight for him. Like before he get there, make sure
Pretty
it's
much
set
how
up.
he
Okay.
lives now. Just saying. Were you thinking that?
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
the manager.
You his manager. Yeah. You his management
Yeah, I know you
team.
refer to me as your secretary. It's all the same.
All right.
Yeah, so those are both really, really great times because, I mean, even just the songs that I mentioned, you know, being a part of that process and being a creative part and just building all the relationships I had, like, and have currently is
That's pretty nice.
dope.
What made you get out the music business? Are you still in it?
I'm still in.
For real, what you doing now with it?
So before I jumped all the way to come back to the Bay, I opened up a recording studio, and I was basically.
Why y'all keep laughing, man?
It's so dope. Like I said, you keep just nuking me.
I opened up a
I had
recording
no
studio.
clue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm impressed. Like I said, I
very
seen you
impressive.
do. Like I remember highlights. Like I mean, not to jump all over the place. Like your knitting thing. Like
Because we're gonna get back on that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
it's
But like
important.
your knitting thing, I'm like, this is dope. Like I seen like you knitting and
I mean, if I had
the
a daddy,
bikinis
I'd
and
be-
everything.
If I had a daddy,
I seen your fashion line, and
Uh-huh.
and I was telling my wife like, this is so dope, and she from Vallejo, and I know her. I've graduated with her. Like, you know what I'm saying?
completely made that up.
I made up a whole story, and I'm like, I want her to come over here and talk about her fashion line and how dope it is, and I'm just mind blown about how you just everything you've been through. So that's
Thank
dope. I
you.
just wanted to just throw that out there. Keep going.
Well, thanks.
I'm like so like just like in it like. Let's
I
go.
mean, but honestly, like, there, so you should know, like, with it being a lot of things going on, it took a lot of work, a lot of hustle, and that story to go with it. But the reason why I ended up moving back to Vallejo is because my father got sick.
Okay.
And so I was here, like,
I was wondering why you came back.
everybody always asks me, they're like, you in Vallejo?
I mean, I knew why you came back. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know your daddy was sick, but, you know.
Then how you know she came back? All right.
Brother, don't-
Okay. All right.
Got him real flustered tonight.
What? Okay.
Stay off my line,
So my
man.
father got sick, and so it was like no question for me to move back. So while here, I've actually had an opportunity to kind of like just fall back on something I said earlier regarding building a brand and building business. Like, the thing about it is that I know I'm very highly capable of making money because I've always done it, right? And so now it's a matter of like strategically doing so and not working so hard and being able to walk away from something you build, because that's what the big guys are doing, right? And so it kind of brought me back to my foundation, which is crocheting. And even just throwing out the process of my father actually being sick, crocheting, who would have knew that when I started crocheting at 12 that this would be like my saving grace. This is what's been my therapy. Me taking yarn and creating really dope
something, being a
things.
creator.
'Cause you're obviously a creative
That's what I was-
person.
I was
so no
just
matter
gonna
what
say.
you're doing, you're going to be creating
And it
some
kind of
way or shape or form.
right. And it kind of allows me to take that science base that I have and put them together, because I've always been trying to figure out how I'm going to do both, because people have always told me I couldn't. You're like, oh, you can be a doctor and have a fashion line, but why? You can't be a mogul and do this, but why? But that's going off of whose definition. And so just looking at the science factor, I did a whole lot of research to understand why I've been able to get through things and be strong throughout it, because I'm a daddy's girl. Like, this should have killed me. Like, because if you look at the list of like things that you're most afraid of, like everything, all of those things have happened now. And it's just like, and I'm still here, now what? That just meant that I was shooting not high enough, shooting too low, and I didn't give myself a chance to be great, right? And so now with Yarn Movement, that's what Yarn Movement is. It's all about being on the move, because when I'm talking about my story, it's about being here, all over the place.
Yeah.
Nothing like really has like any kind of sense, but it makes sense for me, right? And so that's when I made a decision. I'm going to fall all the way back into crocheting and do my fashion line. And so maybe about 2 years ago, within that, it's a whole lot of travel for me, because that's been my way of like getting away and thinking about things. I do a whole lot of traveling because that's what I like to do. And so I have been trying to get to Africa.
Yeah.
And everybody I talk to, like all my friends who are from there, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go in December for Christmas. We're going to do this. And it's just like, I got kind of sick of waiting around.
So you did it yourself.
And I went on like Google Flights, and I just looked at the map, because they do, like a calendar.
Right.
And I saw that
Where you go? Tell us where you went.
I went to Nigeria.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
The only part that he really listened to. But it was during my time there. It was like going to be a proof of concept for me that I can travel, and
You went by yourself?
I went by myself.
Dang. Oh, you You a
beast.
savage. For
And really,
real.
like, it was again one of those things. Like, maybe I told myself once or twice that I couldn't do it, and I was just like, "Nah, you gonna do this, girl, no matter what people say." And so I ended up just connecting with people online, people I don't know, but I just kind of prayed about it and left. And I brought a bunch of like colorful yarn with me, and I would find like groups of kids, and I would like especially make them like girls.
So what? I mean, I want to rewind a little bit. What was your plan on going to Africa? Just to visit and kick it?
No, so I wanted to go and just see what it was,
Okay.
right? For myself, just because I kind of skipped around this part, but in college I did a whole bunch of studying abroad, and one of the places I went was Mexico. And in Mexico, I went to this place called Huatulco, and Huatulco was one of the first slave ports. And all the people there look like us. And when you look at news or when you look at other people's stories, like, nobody knows. But everybody
black people in Mexico like that, like,
and they speak Swahili
what?
In Mexico?
in Mexico.
What?
and-
How many languages you speak?
I don't know, but you sent something to me the other day that I didn't even want to respond back because it was just a collection of letters that I recognized, but I didn't recognize the order that they was in.
Oh yeah, because it was supposed to be your language.
First of all,
Okay, sorry,
check this
sorry.
out.
I'm be quiet,
How many
but
languages you speak?
just English really, and Spanish
okay.
of course,
All right.
and then French if I have to, but just enough to have conversation,
Spanish, of course. French, if I have to.
Undo toi.
That's what I was thinking. What do you mean Spanish? Of course, we supposed to know Spanish?
I know French.
Well, no, just because I studied abroad in Mexico.
Yeah.
Undo toi.
But my point with that
No,
was that
you don't.
What that? What I
on
said?
du Twaquette. Yeah, he
See?
did.
No me
know
gusta.
1, 2, 3. It is-
No me gusta. Go ahead.
But it
No
was just
say.
it was just seeing us in different places
Yeah.
and just trying to like map that out. And so I was like, man, I need to go to Africa. And so while there, I was working with little girls, and it turned out it was something good because I couldn't find colorful yarn there. The yarn that I would see was mostly stuff that they'll put in their hair. And I was like, wow, this is great, because at that point I started really feeling like traveling was giving me this hollow feeling, especially like when you travel and you really get to see like real poverty, and when you see those people are like look like us, it's just like, wow, I got to do something about this, because I'm spending money to come here. I should be able to drop something
To help them.
and so
Man,
last year
got your Oprah on.
last year I went to Morocco and I taught my crochet class to a
I
group
know
of 30
Morocco had to
girls.
be beautiful.
It was amazing. And
So you set up classes prior to go out there, and like, how did you even just reaching out to people and like, yo, I want to set up a class, get some people there, and I'm gonna. Okay.
I partnered with this organization called Project Soar. So Project Soar is created for girls to keep them in school, because if they don't stay in school, they become child brides or other stuff. And so I created the workshop. It's called Believe in What You Dream, and I teach them how to journal. And it's really just like my journey that I put into like these workshops, and it worked out. And like those girls are still like crocheting. We keep in contact through WhatsApp and Facebook. And so this year, I'm going to Tanzania, and it's going to be 300 girls.
Wow.
And this will be the first time that I have an opportunity to really address the real issues that I've gotten to see, which are personal care, hygiene, and energy. Like these girls from the class last year, I got them all hyped up. They go home, they don't have no lights.
Yeah.
Then it's just like they start their cycle, and like, I mean, while I was there, I brought like some with me, but I wanted to
Right.
have like extra on the side. I couldn't find anything.
Wow.
And I'm talking to
So-
them. I'm like, so what do you do?
I was just gonna
Yeah, what
ask
do
you,
they
like, what
do
do they
with it?
do?
Man, these girls told me they use pieces of rugs, clothing, newspaper,
I never even thought about that.
mud.
Mud?
Mud.
Mud.
Damn.
Wow.
And so then you think about, okay, now the sanitary
Yes.
issues, like now how do you clean a rug,
Right.
Yeah.
and you putting that on your body, like
How
that's
do you
the
clean mud? It's like, I never even thought about
So
that.
it's that piece. And so this year I partnered with not one but two solar energy companies. So one,
They're providing.
I'm getting solar lamps for all the girls.
Oh, okay.
And so they're going to be able to take them home.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other solar energy company, they're going to be installing solar panels inside the schools and birthing centers. So 10 schools and 5 birthing centers.
What part of Africa is Akon hooking up the lights with? Like
Ghana.
how far is that from where you at?
Well, that's in Ghana, so that's West Africa. I'm going to East Africa.
Okay.
So it's far because Africa is huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
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 I just know like everybody talking about like how he putting out lights in there and how big that is in the project, and I just didn't know how far it reached.
Yeah, I mean, because even when I was in Nigeria, like we can be sitting like how we doing right now, the lights will go out, power be out for like hours.
Dang.
And so if you just so happen not to be that family who can afford the kerosene to run your generator,
You out.
And you just out.
and it's hot.
Yeah.
That right there was what I felt like I went to Africa for. I needed to feel that. So I feel like the work that I'm doing from this point on is the reparations that we've been begging for years. Like, them are people, you know? And so going to do this work, I'm going into the Maasai community. Maasai are nomadic, so they don't have lights, but they do want their kids to, learn. And so I'm bringing sanitary napkins for all 300 girls. We're going to do the workshop, and they're going to have lights.
That's really amazing.
That's dope. So, how do you fund all this?
I'm fundraising. I'm glad you asked. Anyone who's listening, you too can sponsor one of these 300 girls for $50.
That's
You can
it.
do so by going to donate.yarnmovement.com.
We'll have that on there.
Donate.yarnmovement.com.
add
We got to
that.
make sure we add that.
Yes.
$50, and that gets the girl a lamp and some.
So it's going to get her the full kit. I'm calling the Dream Girl kit. And so it's going to be all the materials that are needed for the workshop. So they get the yarn, the scissors, the hook, a journal, and then they'll get the sanitary napkins, a supply of sanitary
I
napkins,
was finna say like
underwear.
They just gonna get one?
yeah, like they get a month, like
Underwear and solar lamps. But while there, I've had meetings set up with government. So I'm going to meet with the district executive of each place that I go, along with the education ministers and things like that, because this is a real problem.
Yeah.
Because on the other side of it is that girls, when they start their period, especially in that area, they don't have anything.
What
And
do
so
they
they
do
go to
day to day? Are they just kicking it? Like do they go to school?
They go to school, but if they start their cycles, they don't go
Okay.
for as long as they're on it, because they're getting made fun of. I mean, all the other stuff that goes with it,
Yeah.
Right.
right? And then in the worst cases of like just reports that I've been reading is that girls are exchanging, they're doing transactional sex so they can buy pads.
That's sad.
Damn. So the
These are
poverty
the things that we take for
is it
granted.
levels of poverty, like even
Oh, yeah.
within the poverty, like you know what I mean?
So
like,
the levels that you see is that you're wealthy or you're in you're poverty. That's it.
but I'm saying, but even within the poverty that you're going to, is levels in that, right?
Right,
Like
'cause,
some
like,
people
it-
got certain jobs that can't get the pads or just have transportation to get what they need to come back, but they still within that village, right?
Right. I mean, because we're talking about it's not just one area.
Yeah, I
we're
know
talking
that.
about the whole thing. So you have to look at the different levels of classes as well. So like you're a family, you have 2 sons and a daughter. You have to buy bread, milk, and a chicken.
Right.
You're not gonna forego a bread or your milk
For some pads.
for some pads. It's not gonna happen.
And the mama like, I had to do it.
Yeah, because the mom is going through the same thing.
Right. Right.
Just that
That's
culture.
it.
huh?
That's real talk.
Man, I don't know if I can go. I'll be broke. Like I mean, like I get why you doing what you're doing, but it sometimes feel like it's just not enough for you, huh? Do you ever get to that point?
Well, I'm not necessarily married to that portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so like, this is what needs to be done. Like, let's fix it. Because the other thing that happens is that there's a lot of white organizations. We
Going
can say
out
that.
there. Yeah,
Who
yeah.
go, who raise great money, and
Yeah,
they
we
go.
say white stuff like that on here.
And they do great work, but one of the things, like for instance, the solar company that I'm working with, they found is that they went to go put solar panels into the school. Turned out the solar panel was already in the school, just didn't have a battery.
Right. Right.
Damn.
And so it's like the solar panel itself last for 5 years. So they had lights for 5 years, and now since they don't have a battery,
Ain't got no
and
lights.
nobody followed up. And then the government, like we're talking about a battery that goes into a car. You could have bought that,
Right, easy.
Damn.
right?
That's
But
the only thing that was stopping them from having lights. Just
Yeah.
so the company, they put it in the battery, and they were able to put like, a panel somewhere else, or like even in the birthing centers. Like, so everybody got phones. Phones are not the problem. It's charging them, right?
Okay.
And so you go in a
How
birthing
they get
centers.
phones?
Because phones, you can buy a phone anywhere. I mean, like, look here, you got government phones.
But they got.
But that's one of the things of poverty, right?
It's about communication.
It's like you can go into a ghetto and see a 70-inch screen TV,
Okay.
but not be no food in the house. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, excuse me, that part doesn't change. But, in the birthing centers, they got doctors who are delivering babies by cell phone light.
Damn.
I couldn't do it, man. I can't go. I be crying and like, yo, we got to do something, Tiff. What you gonna do?
But you could do
You
it.
think you'd be crying?
Nah, I'm just saying, like, you know how we took 9 to Mexico?
I'm trying to figure out why he said, Tiff, what you gonna do? Not what we like.
I'm the manager.
Tiff, I need you to handle this, man. I need you to make
put it
this
all on
happen.
you.
Like, you know how we took our son to Mexico, like, on a cruise. We took him to, what's that called?
Ensenada. That's not even like.
I know, but I'm just saying, we took him to Ensenada. It's poverty over there. And, like, he was bugging, like, Dad, I need you to get all these kids $100. I'm like, dude, like,
Hold on now there, grasshopper.
Hold on, man. Chill. He like, Dad, we got to do something about this. I'm like, yo,
I brought some little
chicklets.
the little
She bought some
iguana things that head moves in the.
Uh-huh.
Just to,
He was like, buy all of them. Like, let's just go to the beach. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I feel it, man. Like, and when I see our people, it's like, it's just another different type of thing that I know I'll go through, and I'll probably be in the same position as you. Like,
Yeah, because the thing about it is just as you said, it's something you feel in your soul.
yeah.
That's why Oprah built the school.
Mm-hmm.
so are you going to by yourself again this year, or you got?
So this year, I sit on a board for this organization called Sister City. So Sister City, funny enough, they have a sister city in Ensenada. So Sister City Vallejo, we have 8 sister cities,
Yeah.
right? And they're all over. And what we do is basically do work in each city. And so in Tanzania, there's a city called Bagamoyo. And so Bagamoyo is like the equivalent of Sankofa in Ghana, which is where in Bagamoyo is where like the Middle Eastern slave port happened or slave trade happened, right? And it's interesting because we don't ever really hear about that story. We're always focused on West Africa and like, the triangle. But one of the reasons why most of the countries in East Africa speak Muslim is because of that. And so I partnered with them, and this is going to be their 25th anniversary of being in Bagamoyo. And so I opened my big mouth, and I was like, oh, I want to do a workshop. Cool. Well, how many people? 300? And I said 300 because I'm like, I did 30 last year comfortably, And so I'm going with them, and then I partnered with the 2 solar energy companies. One of the solar energy companies is actually one of my classmates from Stanford, and he's from Congo, and that's the work that he's doing. He's doing off the grid solar work, and so I'm gonna get lamps from him, and yeah.
Do you go with a translator, or you just?
No, I've connected with people online.
Oh, okay.
But this time it's gonna be good because with Sister City we get to travel as international like liaisons. So that's why I'm able to sit down with government officials and have an official welcome and do it right.
In your class, you just teach them the foundations of knitting to let their
crochet.
mind go. Crocheting. The foundations of crocheting, and then from there they can expand their mind and go wherever they need to go.
Because I find like even when I'm here and I'm teaching that it's always going to be somebody in the room who knows how to crochet already, which is always helpful. But for me, crocheting is not just a skill set of crocheting, but also is training your mind to think and link your success. Right.
I know how to crochet. I only know how to make a blanket though, or like a scarf.
I never knew that.
My grandmother
Only know
got
how to
an
go, like, one
old
way. I don't know
crochet
how to get
blanket. I was
fancy
gonna
with
bring
it.
for
I
you.
never
You should
knew
have
that.
brought it.
Auntie
Yeah.
Teresa taught me how to
For real?
crochet.
kinda
That
old.
that whole get up, like top to bottom, like just the sleeves or
Just
the
the
whole?
sleeves. And
So that's
then
pretty
okay.
dope though. What you? Oh, you got on socks too?
They're like little leg warmers.
Okay, but the jacket is dope. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
when I walked in and seen that, I was like,
That's an
oh.
attention getter, huh?
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
that's-
here.
That's pretty. You feel me?
That's nice.
This is what I call showtime.
Oh, okay.
Showtime.
She ready. Hey, so what's up with your studio? Like you say you got a studio?
A
in Vallejo?
photography studio.
Oh, photography studio.
Uh-huh.
Because you say
Also-
you connected to music and you said studio. That's why I was like,
No, that was before she came.
So I'm still
Back.
connected. So this is again like I'm all about the thinking and linking and making sure all of my stuff can connect. And so I have a 6 studio building in Fremont, and so I shoot commercials and we do photo shoots and all kind of stuff in there. And I'm getting ready actually to do a show there.
what show you about to do?
Ooh, you
Two
gotta
dudes and
wait
a
to
chick.
see. I mean, for sure, we could set this up and y'all can have a live joint.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna put us online. You know what I'm saying? so you have a 6-unit studio that is all about like production stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep,
Sure do.
So that's how you make your cash.
I make my cash just being me, dumpling.
Hey, you-
Hashtag.
Hey, just
What was
sitting
the
here-
hashtag?
Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna listen to it and remember again. Oh, just being no, hold on. Hey, look, you remind me of. I don't even want to go back there and remember because I gotta listen.
What's the hashtag?
I forgot. That's why I said I'm gonna listen.
Presents.
I'm gonna listen to it and then I remember it. But
You gonna listen to what?
this episode. I said I forgot the hashtag.
But don't we need the hashtag during the episode?
Dude, I would get it. Hey, now what? Just listening to her talk and how she like, I just feel like I got cousins that's been dope dealers and all that junk, and they out the game.
Mm-hmm.
But that same mentality that they got when they was drug dealers, they like, I just know how to make money. You got that same mentality that my dope dealing cousins got. It ain't got nothing to do with dope, but I'm just saying,
you just
that
change a commodity.
Yeah, just that independent like entrepreneur. Like I know how to
You
make
gonna
money.
always be straight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be straight. Don't worry about me. Like I'm gonna have this house. I'm gonna have this. Like they got everything, and it just listen to you talk. You got that.
I just need your help opening up a podcast studio and B, an incubator out here. That's all I need your help with.
An incubator.
Like a small business incubator.
Okay.
Why are y'all looking at
Do
me?
you have a budget?
Huh?
You got a budget?
I do.
Oh yeah, we can talk.
I got $1,000 in my pocket. Hey, you make money wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? I just need you to make this happen. Come on.
You ain't gonna waste her time.
Okay, slide me that gene. I got you.
That's like one of them. You ain't gonna waste my time, buddy.
You know what? I feel so disrespected this whole
Hey.
I don't know why.
Cause y'all been on me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it started with
It's only because you came late.
Yeah, that's it.
check this out.
And
That was the only reason.
I
potentially
texted you
smarter
and
than
told
you.
you I was on my way.
Potentially.
I'm just trying to throw on the beat.
You told
On the
me,
bone.
text me when you get to this address.
Yes.
Oh, well, you just ring the doorbell.
When she
That's what he hit you with.
yeah, when she texted me, I was like, I'll be there in a minute. Just ring the doorbell. Like she rung the doorbell, obviously, and got in the house.
Dang.
Yes.
And I showed up like literally 120 seconds after.
Okay. So, man, what else? Hey, that's you got anything else popping besides
that peanut butter?
everything that you done told us?
So yeah, so when I go back
need to
to
know
my
it all.
my intro, I said, "This is S. Ladybug. I'm a fly girl, creative entrepreneur who created international empowerment tour, funded by Custom Crochet Couture. Somebody you want to follow for sure. Fly Girls is a show that I've created that I highlight women in business.
Okay.
So I've shot 12 episodes. I've released 2 so far, and I'm getting ready to release 2 more.
Where you release them at?
So they're on TV and local network for Vallejo, and then they're online. And then they're getting ready to go onto another platform online.
Okay.
But
You got? Are you fat? I seen you send me something. I seen you send out a blast. Are you doing fashion like dressing up dudes like besides the crochet line?
oh yeah, so that's for a fundraiser. Oh, so that has to do with my company of with the studio, right?
Okay.
A shoot. One of the things that we do for our clients is we make sure their brand is together. And so by doing so, we capture the images that they need, because most people don't have images normally when they're trying to launch something. And so it's just like, if you want people to respect you and respect your business that you're doing, especially about to ask for some money, you got to set it up like this is legit, right?
Yeah.
And so we're doing the fundraiser. I partnered with my partner, of course, and a few other people, and we're doing headshot parties.
Okay.
And so you just come in, and I set you up to get your headshot signed.
Because I remember you said, when I got an email, I was like, "Oh, dude, look fly!" Like you put that's how your whole conversation got. I opened it, I'm like, "Hey, dude, look fly!" You put that together, like you put his whole wardrobe together. Okay, yeah,
That's Prentice Powell. He's a spoken word artist. Yeah.
Yeah, he got skills. Like, you know, when he grabbed my attention, I'm like, okay, hold on, man. You know what I'm saying? You might have to do something with Young Priest D.
Let's do it.
You bet. Just come on now.
You know I'm a fit model, you know what I mean? I don't want to throw that out there, but if you ever need somebody that's a perfect medium, you know what I mean? I'm the man.
Get another inch on your butt first, they say.
Yeah, man, they hating on me. I got signed to the agency as a fit model, and they say I need to get 2 more inches in my butt in order to.
Yeah, but you know why?
Why?
Because that's a sample, a perfect sample.
For
If
real.
you're gonna be a perfect sample, you got to be able to fit everything, or
Yeah,
they're
that's
not gonna
that.
book you.
That's it. It's like that,
Yeah.
like
She said,
chest,
"You get 2
arm. She was
inches?"
like, yeah. I called him. I was like, look, man, I've been with y'all for a month and a half. Y'all say y'all gonna be booking me. What's up? She was like, oh yeah, you say you got 2. You gonna get 2 more inches? Did you get it? I was like, I'll call you back. She said, you were at a 38 and a half. Are you at a 40 yet? She said, 1.5 inches. I said, I'll call you back.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not gonna look good in clothes, and
Yeah,
designers are real pushy about that.
Man. Yeah, man. Trick them designers, man. I'm trying to get this bread.
But no, but they get their clothes already pre-done, so you got to fit what they got.
No.
It's not custom.
It's not going to fit to you. You got to fit to them.
Yeah,
Trick that.
you want that check.
Nah,
You
nah.
want that
That
check.
check, you better do them squats.
Bro, what exercise is
As I'm
that?
doing them squats, I'm in the chair. Like,
Crazy.
well, man,
But yep.
You got anything else you want to plug, man?
I'm just plugging Fly Girls. Yarn
What? You know what? Another thing I want to know.
Believe
what-
in what you dream.
Where Ladybug come from?
Oh,
Is that
one of
like
my
the
trips
name
to
your grandma
Mexico.
gave you? Oh, okay.
Trip to Mexico. I walked in the host family house in my room, and it was full of ladybugs,
Uh-huh.
which was weird because I'm like, dang, they got ladybugs in Mexico?
They got ladybugs in Mexico.
They do. And apparently they're all over because they seem like they travel with me.
Oh,
See them
okay.
everywhere you go.
Yeah, like I was in Blue Lagoon in Iceland, and it was one floating next to me. I was like, this is crazy.
First
So
of
you've
all,
been to
you need
Iceland.
to stop. Just
Stunting on
just
this.
stop.
I
I was in Blue Lagoon
Okay,
in Iceland.
okay, you
like,
got us. Now, hey, where
nigga,
you?
half the
I
niggas
thought
that
you
listen
was
to
gonna
us
say
don't
the
know where
Blue Lagoon
Iceland
in
is.
Nassau.
That opened up another question.
So you're not even listening. I said I like to travel, man.
Where you
Just because you
travel
said you like to travel don't mean we was gonna pick
Where you
Iceland.
go? Where you been?
She
You
go
gotta
to
name
all
more.
white places,
Nigga, she
except for the
Africa.
black places.
Except for
What?
Oh my God.
First of all, we're everywhere.
Not in
Mind
Iceland.
right. Get out
We're
and travel,
everywhere.
Negro. Look at that
Hey.
face. Get out and get your mind right, Negro.
In the moment that we're not there and you come, we there, right?
So where have you been?
That's why there's some smart people say. The moment black people ain't there, you black. There was black people there. Nigga.
So let's see. Like last year,
Are you a traveler by yourself, huh?
I travel in groups sometimes,
But
but it
it's
just
not,
depends because groups are like,
But it's not uncommon for you to be like, I'm finna just go to Greece.
I don't know how
and just
black
dip
women
out
do
there.
that.
well, when I was in Nigeria, I think that kind of like opened up a new opportunity for me. You know,
just
to let
go
me know
dolo.
that if I can go to Nigeria,
You can
I was
do
there
it.
for 21 days.
Wow.
So now I feel like I can go anywhere.
That was your first time and only time flying, like going by yourself?
Well, normally what happens is that I live in different areas from most of my friends. So normally I'm like flying to meet them somewhere.
Yeah.
So it normally happens like that. But this was
Okay.
like the first time I'm getting off plane, and it's
You
Just
by
you and
yourself.
your suitcase.
yeah. But to answer your question, so last year I went to Croatia.
I always see you traveling.
Yeah, I went to Croatia to
You
launch.
like with a little stalker, huh?
Nah, you know, you just scanning through, and I'm like, damn, she busy. Like that's why I hit her up, cuz I told you that.
Yeah, I went to Croatia. I went to Copenhagen, to Barcelona.
All white places so far. That slipped out. I'm sorry. Can you please?
He was
Okay,
thinking
so-
out loud.
Can you-
So just so you know, in Copenhagen, I went to Copenhagen because there's a statue that's out there that these two black women artists created that sits on the street, and it's
Look
called.
at beating
No,
you in the eye.
I need you to look at
With
me.
the neck
Don't
roll.
egg her.
Look,
Don't
beat-
egg. Don't
beating
egg.
you in the nigga.
Hitting every single
No egg,
word.
girl.
That you, nigga.
Do we really know
So-
they was black?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she's smart.
Because they created this statue called Queen Mary. You should probably look it up.
Oh, Google it,
Right.
because if you probably ain't
Queen
heard
Mary. Queen Mary
of it,
was
you probably
like
ain't heard of it.
she was like the Harriet Tubman of St. Croix.
Okay.
And so she was taking
Freeing
slaves
slaves.
from
Did you know
St.
Harry
Croix.
Tubman was freeing slaves? Did we got to stop and let you know that while you Googling?
Queen Mary, okay?
Queen Mary.
In Copenhagen.
Okay.
She ain't talking about the ship.
So the statue is like 11 feet tall, and she has like a head wrap on, and she's sitting on the same chair as like Huey P. Newton. So they have like and she's holding this staff, and I just wanted to see it.
I just wanted to see it.
I wanted to see it, so I went to Copenhagen. It's like in the middle of the town. It's not too far from the airport, so I just hopped off. I went to
Oh, she
Copenhagen.
really is sitting in the same seat as Huey P.
Let me see that.
It's dope.
What she said.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So there are black people in
hard.
Copenhagen.
Keep going, man. You over here.
Keep on, I mean, I'm-
Yeah.
Where else? And then I went to Morocco. Then of course, okay. Then I could just talk about places I've been. So Iceland,
Why you go to Iceland?
because of Blue Lagoon.
Oh, okay.
I really wanted to go see the Northern Stars too, but we didn't have time to do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Blue Lagoon's just a lagoon that's blue.
No, it's a old volcano, so it's like a hot spring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it is blue though. Yeah.
They got that hot spring smell.
What's all right?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. You know, you ain't never smelled the hot spring.
Nah, nigga.
But it's supposed to be good for your skin, relax or whatever.
It's that sulfur smell.
Okay. Yeah.
Went to Paris.
Sulfur 8.
I've been to Paris.
I've never been to
Tim
Paris.
wanted to
I can
jump
get in there. I've been to
Tim-
Paris.
I've never been
What
to
did you think
Paris.
about Paris?
Hey, my nephew in
I thought it
Paris.
was dirty.
My nephew in Paris
Everybody
right now.
smoked and
He
everybody
like,
was
man,
rude.
I don't like these white people out here.
They're rude.
Yeah, so he's like, it's
It's
hella
interesting
prejudice
you
out
say
here.
that because I get like
Is it prejudice out
contrasting
there?
accounts of Paris.
I had a good time in Paris.
Hey, my nephew out there, he like he handling some business. He like, yo, it's prejudice as hell out here.
I'm sure my experience would be different if I were to go as an adult. I went right after I graduated high school. And we just
See?
went.
She went to Paris out of high school.
I'm well traveled.
Then why are you directing that towards me?
You looked at me, so I figured I gave you a reaction.
No, you directed that towards me. Without even,
You looked at me, so I gave you a reaction.
there was no provocation. I looked at Brandon and you said,
he
see?
tried to
That
throw
is hecka funny.
provocation at you.
After we graduated, we went to Belgium. And then we drove up to Paris. Saw the Eiffel Tower. And then we went to Disneyland. So I figure
There's a Disneyland in Paris?
there's Disneylands all over the place.
Yeah.
Disney was not
These guys
playing.
need to get out a little bit more.
Actually, I've been to Vallejo, Richmond, Sacramento,
That is so
Reno.
sad.
Yes.
He went out the country for the first time on our honeymoon.
Yeah,
Where'd you guys go?
Jamaica.
Ooh.
yeah, Ultra Rios.
That was his first
That
time.
was my first time. My parents used to take me to L.A.,
Anywhere you can drive.
Long Beach. That same as LA.
Wait, you guys didn't go to Mexico when you went to like your drive down?
With my parents?
Mm-hmm.
Hell nah. My pops was like,
They used
man,
to
we
go to Tijuana.
Yeah,
we
he
go-
used to go to Mexico
You
as,
didn't go to Tijuana?
as a
Nah,
kid.
that's when I was in like in 11th grade. So
Oh, okay.
I lived in Chula Vista for a year.
Oh,
So we used
okay.
to,
I know Chula Vista.
Yeah, we used to go over the border.
Yeah, it was
kick
right there.
Yeah,
Could
right
you get
there.
to see them run across?
Man, it was so sick over there. I was like, reflecting back, I always say my auntie, me and G, I
Parenting.
moved out there. to
Horrible
live-
parenting.
His brother was a child actor. His brother was a child actor, and he was like, "B, come move with me, man." So my mom, his mom's sister. So I moved out there for a year.
parenting.
And yeah, it was some bad parenting because we used to be out there kicking it like 15 years old.
I forgot Dane was a child actor.
No,
Nah,
Lulu.
Lulu was a child actor.
Oh, it was Lulu.
Yeah, Dame did a little modeling though, but Lulu.
Gotcha.
So yeah, man, I ain't really been too many places.
That's
You should start
dope,
going.
though. Yeah, you should. It's fun.
Especially with the state of America right now, you might want to start going places and make sure your passport works for you.
Man, straight
Are
up.
we done with Chantel? 'Cause I got something I want to
Wow.
tell y'all about.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
I mean, you changed the mood. Go ahead.
Excuse me, sir.
Uh,
What would you like to talk
I
about,
just want to let y'all
Doc?
know that I'm on my 3rd day of Ramadan, you know.
Oh yeah, I forgot you was starting that.
Yeah, but you know, it's all good.
all right, that's all you gotta say.
That's all I got to
So
say.
maybe that's why you're so flustered because you ain't ate
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
And it's not because she's
yeah,
smarter
that's-
than you.
that's
It makes
what's
sense.
throwing you off.
She's
Okay.
not smart. First of all, she's not.
She's a scientist.
No,
Like y'all here.
She's a scientist. You're just a doctor.
I don't know.
I could have been a scientist too if I wanted.
Coulda, shoulda,
I
but you
just didn't
are.
want it. I just decided.
I
to
could
choose a
have been a
different-
gynecologist. I just wanted to be.
I just
a
decided
foreman.
to choose
I
a
just
different.
deci-
You
I
know
just
what?
decided to be a foreman. Could have been.
I don't want to talk
gynecologist.
about it no more.
All right, cool.
It's okay. I've never really seen you like this
You
before.
look sad.
I'm not sad, but
You look down and out.
because y'all
Smile,
messing
brother.
with me, man. I
Smile.
was just trying to.
It's
You know.
okay.
So what's next for this show? I'm asking y'all questions now. Like, it's my show.
Man,
What's next?
So
So y'all got
after-
NOCO, right?
Noco.
No,
Yeah.
Noco? Okay, Noco,
man.
okay.
No, I mean, and after that, man, we gonna talk to you and see what we gonna do. That was my plan.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
gonna talk to you and get into Chantel management.
That really wasn't. That really was his plan. Like, let's get her on the show so you can see what we do.
Nah, hell nah.
get her
Dog,
interested.
I had no clue about everything that she been through and
Right.
went
So
through.
that
Yeah,
makes me
nah,
want to
you-
ask you. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years.
See how we flip that? That's called interviewing.
Yeah. I see a lot of things in 5 years.
I'm
So
sure
I
you
have a
do.
book that I'm getting ready to release.
Oh,
So I want to be traveling with that.
She didn't say about the write. She said release,
Release.
which means
It's done.
it's already written.
Yeah, it's written. You know, because I think that we're in a space now where people are interested in knowing how you did something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's a lot of like podcasts, there's a lot of people going around doing workshops. But when you go to workshops, because I go sit through them, just, you know, pull out my credit card, pay for them, go sit through them, go online, sit through them. And I noticed that people aren't actually giving you
Tools.
tools,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so even with Fly Girls is about hearing your story of how you got somewhere, right? Because nothing is like a catch-all. You know, like they're always like, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur. This is the way you must do things," and it's just like, no, you got to be able to be in movement. Which Fly Girls, everyone always thinks is about being fly and being fashionable, but it's really about being on the fly. You know, being able to, okay, that didn't work. You gotta
Let's go.
let's do this other way, and always constantly be in movement. Because if you're not,
Good play on words there.
you should always like follow the money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you're following money, you know, like sometimes people get in this complacent place where they're like, oh, well, it's not about the money, but it is,
At the end
Or
of
you
the
wanna
day.
be
It
doing what
is.
you're doing.
right? Because as much as the hustle is fun, like,
The money is better.
yeah, man, it is. And because of the people that I worked for,
Yeah.
you know, like working with some of the celebrities I work with, I had a black card that I can go and charge stuff. And it was me. Like, I didn't have to get like, oh, I need a second opinion about this going on. Ooh, I'm not going to take care of this over here. I'm just going to go over here and do this.
Swiping, no
piece.
swiping, huh?
Right.
Hey.
Like-
No swiping.
Like new computers would come out, like Apple. I can go in the store and buy 15 computers.
Like nothing.
That feels good.
yeah.
You know, and so like until
You
you
know what
know
feels
that,
good too?
to be able to go
Going-
to Costco without a
Man,
list.
Come on. Just be Michael
Right.
Jackson. That.
This,
That.
Hey,
That's
it's so funny. I was
that's my
walking.
goal.
or how about getting a pallet?
Walking with Costco with a pallet. Oh, I ain't even went that deep. Oh man, you
Just
open my
give me a pallet of that.
dog. Nah,
Yeah.
just no. You ain't got no cart, nigga. You got the pallet. You just walking
None-
through,
Oh,
stacking
is
it
that
up.
what you was talking about?
Yes.
I
Come
thought
on
you
now,
meant-
get on our hype, baby.
So I was I'm doing a party Saturday, so I've been going to Hobby Lobby like every day. And I was just walking through there and I was like, man, it would be so dope if I would just be able to get everything I want at one time and not have to like come here every day just so I can use a coupon on one specific item.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Not only that, but just like I've seen so much stuff in here that I just would just want. Like I was just thinking like that would be really dope. Just be able to do that one day.
So even with that, just that same mindset, just being able to tell people like this is how you can do this, and don't be afraid, you know, because if you have this would believe in what you dream, like that's why everything is kind of like wrapped into. I'm dealing with the girls here so they can become women who are leaders here, right? Or in between, because you have like people like Marseille Martin, who she's 14 years old. And she produced Little.
Her movie.
That is hard.
Like that's her
Produced
money.
and starred.
That's her money.
That's dope.
And even when she's doing her interview, she's like, yeah, you know, like people are like, oh, your parents, like, yeah, these are my business partners. She already know what it is. And so it's just like the only thing stopping from anybody from doing that is just mindset.
That's like the Instant Millionaire.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: with all the different things you got going on, the multiple businesses, the degrees, the success, all of that, how has it impacted your relationships?
Which relationships?
Personal relationships.
Personal relationships, manly, female-y relationships.
Oh, so we're gonna have this conversation.
Ooh,
Okay, good.
She
I like this kind of conversation.
Yeah, we going somewhere.
I was gonna go there next
we going
as well.
somewhere. I thought
So-
we were done. Let's get it.
Okay, so the thing about it is, again, mindset. So going back to where my foundation stands is that I do have two parents, and they've been together since high school.
Yeah.
And so I have a different just outlook on what relationships look like, what they should be, where the position and mannerisms of a woman stands and men, right? Because I've been able to, I would say, learn how to be a woman from my mom, but learn my position from my father. It's always a level of respect, right? And so if any situation I'm walking through, whatever, you know, if it's a personal relationship, it's a business relationship, I know how to handle myself in them, right? Because I feel like one of the things that always comes up kind of like in this conversation period is always, okay, it becomes a money thing, it becomes a respect thing, it becomes an entitlement thing, right? And so I think that's something that always has to be talked about. You got to communicate. So it hasn't affected my relationships because I'm a great communicator.
Are
and
you
I'm
in
very
a relationship
respectful.
right now?
No.
All right, let me ask you: do these regular Joes that are not in the industry are just working a 9 to 5? Can they handle all the stuff and the success that you got?
That's the question I was asking. Thank you for
But
articulating
that's
that
not
for
really
me.
a question for me, though.
No, I'm saying like in your
Have
past,
you
like
found
in
a
your past,
relationship
like
Right.
you're in,
have you been in
you
relationships
being
where
the breadwinner, maybe?
You being the
essentially.
boss you is.
yeah, because you're a boss, and then
Like,
these regular
have
Joes
you found that these cats is
Can't handle that.
Can't
Well,
handle
I
that.
think it's a role because if we're talking about business, I have to be a boss.
no, but
Right?
I get that,
But I don't have to be a boss in my relationship. You know,
Change gears.
you change gears. Like even, you know, I still have friends from growing up in Vallejo. We still cool after all these years because one side of it is that, you know, like you have to change gears. You have to understand what kind of people you're dealing with. And you have to
gotta know your
also
audience.
understand the value for you.
You have to know your
Like,
audience.
you know, I probably have been in situations more so where I've had to really just kind of like do this whole, man, you know, we not lining up. You don't belong in my life.
wow.
You know, and just be as honest as that.
And it be like that sometimes.
we just talked about that last week.
Sometimes people are only meant to be in your life for a season. And when that season is up, hey, it's cool.
Right. I'm going to take it a little deeper though, Tiff. Right. So there's a rule, the law of 10, right? And then it's also the law of 30. So the law of 30 talks about, or 33, the law of 33 talks about you have 3 compartments in your life that you can have. One is where people are going to feed into you. So those are your mentors. Then you have people that you're going to feed into them. Those are people that you're helping. And then you have this other group is like, that's your tribe, right? But it has to be a situation where it's all balanced. And for many times I've gotten to this place, especially now when my father got sick, that I was actually able to sit down and like, wow, this is why my life is kind of like unbalanced. It's a lot of work that happens.
Feeding too much into one particular
right
group.
and trying to help more people than and trying to pull all these people up. And the thing about it is that you have to be able to build. If you're not building each other, and it becomes a situation where somebody's constantly like leeching off of you, like that kills you.
It's interesting because TD Jakes, I went to a service that he spoke at last week, and he said the same thing. He said some of y'all in here is feeling depleted right now.
You went to that thing in San Jose?
Yeah. I mean, I go to that church. So, of course, I went to the thing in San Jose.
You knew that?
No. You know he
I've
always
been
do.
told y'all I was going to church in San Jose.
Yeah.
I've been told you I was winning.
Well, me and
All
TD
right,
Jakes
go
had
ahead.
lunch yesterday. Like,
Go ahead.
So-
Yeah, I heard TD Jake speak last week. Wait, what?
So, it was just interesting because he said the same thing that
you kick it with him? I'm asking because I know you in there.
Technically, you did.
technically
no,
I
I'm
didn't.
just saying, like, I know that you in there. Like, that's why I said, did you?
No.
Okay. All right. Just got to
Where-
ask. I didn't know you was with
Where
him.
he
You
said,
met Obama. Like,
reason-
That's what I'm saying.
could have met TD.
I hate y'all so much.
Just got to ask. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the next thing going to be like, so afterwards we had lunch. I'm like,
Could have bought the VIP ticket. Who knows?
And he
Who
gave
knows?
me his cufflink.
Yeah,
Right.
like, you know, who knows?
Go ahead.
You got the TD cufflink?
All right, go ahead.
Come on,
Go
Zach.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyway, he said the same thing. And he was like, in order for you to feel recharged or refuel, you need to sometimes let go some of them people that's just taking, and find people who are actually going to feed into your life. Because when you have gifts and talents and purpose that you've identified, folks gravitate to that. But then you have to ask yourself, well, who's feeding into these gifts, talents, and purpose so that I can continue to do the work that I'm doing? So I think it's interesting the way you just phrased it, right? This is the second time me hearing it within a week, which means something. Man, I hate you. Y'all got me so distracted right now, man.
Do you, brother?
Well, I mean, on the other side of that, to talk about the people who are your mentors, like, again, going back to, like, being able to define things and providing definition. So, like, I find that, like, if you're going to be able to move around in life, you have to be able to alter yourself, right? Because nobody's perfect, or else, like, you're living in a stable presence, right? And so, or non-stable presence. But the law of 10 talks about people, if they're going to be your mentor, they need to be 10 times more successful than you want to be. And so when I look back on some of, like, the positions I've had, I didn't last throughout a lot of them how I wanted to, I would say, because I aimed low potentially. Or even just the law itself just talks about they have to be 10 times more successful. So in my mind, I've always wanted to be a millionaire, for instance, or a mogul, or be successful at what I'm doing. So I can't be around other millionaires. Like, those other millionaires have to be my tribe. They can't be my mentors, because in their mind, I'm coming after them. Right? I'm built in competition. So it's going to be, I'm going to help you, but I'm only going to help you as much as I want. And I'm going to put my foot in your neck when I'm ready
help
for you to
enough
stop.
for you to think that I'm helping you.
Right. But the caveat of that is, if I were to go in to be around people who are $10 million,
they ain't even
or
worry
more.
about you. Let me
No,
give
they're
you what
like,
you
I
need.
see a passion. Here, slide you a bones, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the new mindset for me. So when we talk about what's happening in the next 5 years, I'm being around people who are that successful.
Too close to the apple.
I'm glad you're comfortable.
Yeah, for real. This big bare toes. That threw everybody off. I'm like,
But to go back to the question about relationships, utilizing those two definitions has been important, right? Because you can potentially get yourself in a situation where your mindset switches based on who you're around. And so I don't feed into mediocrity, so I never have. So I don't surround myself around it. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in a way of materialistic things. It's just a mindset.
So do you love hard?
Of course I do.
what?
Do you love her? Okay, let me get some of these grapes.
He is off.
Not not now, Gina, baby.
Hey,
half the caramel on the apple. Jeez.
Do you want some apple with that caramel that you just got?
God
Dang.
you need like 2 more apples. Gosh.
Okay.
Hey,
First of all, y'all know we supposed to be no sugar, no carbs.
so why y'all eating that?
You got a big glob.
I ain't. You see, I ain't ate none of that. No sugar. I've been on my no sugar, no carbs.
Can you even have that?
Yeah. You
Oh,
can,
yeah.
You
Oh, yeah,
You
he
can
can eat
eat
at
whatever as long
I
as you eating
know.
at night.
Sunrise and sunset. Trust
So
me.
yeah, but no sugar.
I waited
like,
all day to eat.
some sugar. You still eating sugar? You gonna eat that caramel?
Yeah, go ahead. Eat it.
Hey, you
Look
got
at
it
his
there.
face.
Hey, how
Go
you
ahead.
comfortably dip
He
in
had
that?
Jamba Juice today. Go
That
ahead.
ain't sugar.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh.
Bro, I feel like if you want me to eat this, you should have put it there.
No, I put it there for Chantel.
That is for me.
Man, come on now.
But that makes sense what you were saying about the mentor thing because you didn't even know what it tastes like before you took that big
I
glob.
did not.
You just went in.
This
What you
was
saying,
not
what
what
you
I
saying about the
expected.
mentor?
My son was doing karate for a second, and I didn't know there was like levels to the black belt, right? It's not just you get black belt and that's it. There's like
8 levels.
hella levels. And so I was talking to the sensei guy, and I was like, so you gonna keep going up? He was like, I probably can never go all the way up because my mentor didn't go all the way up and I can't surpass him. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
And I can't go get another mentor. Like, I can only go as far as he goes without surpassing him. And I was like, dang, that's like, that sucks. But I mean, I get it. That's kind of dope. But that just made me think about that when you said you have to get
That's
somebody
a really
who-
great. That's a really great example.
Yeah, that just made me think about that. That's really dope.
Why you don't got no dude?
She booked and busy.
No, I actually got out of a relationship not too long ago.
Oh, that's so sad.
Brandon wants to
It's
ask
not.
why. What happened?
Look, she gonna use me as well.
That was gonna be his next question.
Why you ain't got? What happened to dude?
It just wasn't a good alignment.
Everything got to be
He
aligned.
wasn't on her level. He wasn't that power of 10. It's power of 8.
I mean, it just wasn't in line. That's all.
If you from Vallejo,
No.
who is it?
She said no.
That's with no Vallejo,
Just
niggas.
like,
Hey, you know what? You know what's crazy? So
Niggas out
like,
here.
I think that Vallejo guys have always ran away from me so
For real?
long. Yeah.
because you hella smart.
No, they was running because my brother and my cousin.
Oh, you were labeled. Do
Yeah,
not touch.
Do not touch.
I'm like,
No fucks with.
I have majority male cousins. Yeah,
That's how I feel my daughter is gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Because
but it's a good place.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Let me
with
tell you
it.
a benefit
Perfect.
of having brothers, especially when you're the young sister. Like I learned game from my brothers because I got to watch a whole lot of stuff,
Everything.
and so like, and then it's just patterns, and it's just like, oh, so you thought we was gonna be doing this right here?
Right.
Like, that's not happening.
Yeah. On my side, there's 15 grandkids, and of those 15 is 4 girls. My daughter is 4, almost 5, and the girl before her is 23, and it's just all boys in there. And she has brothers, like so she's gonna hate her life for a long portion of it.
No,
but
she's not.
She'll appreciate it
I
later.
just now realize that.
What? That she's the only girl?
That is just your daughter and your niece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
All boys in between.
it's all boys.
And
But
that's
then
just
on
on her
his
side.
side
Yeah.
is hella girls.
Yeah.
Hella girls.
Wow. Okay. It is a healthy girl.
Yeah. His sister don't
Jeez.
got no sons. His brother only has
Yeah.
2 sons.
You were hilarious. Oh yeah, it is heck of girls.
Jeez.
You right. You right.
I just realized.
Y'all gonna let her make fun of me like that.
That wasn't.
Where's the lie?
No.
Where's
You
the lie?
made me sound like
Old
Bubba
country.
Gump. The way she said that.
Oh, when you play this back, you gonna hear. Oh, Tiff over here like, yeah, it's hella girl. Oh, yeah, it is hella girl.
Hello, girls. Popping your toes up on the table.
Man.
She'll bear.
Bro, y'all.
Who does that? Who puts their feet up on somebody else's
Brandon
table
does.
with no socks on?
Oh, yeah. Well. I never wear socks. What do you want me to do?
Not put your feet on my table?
I mean, that's fair.
Wait, you never wear socks?
No, he
Never.
does not.
Yo,
He'll put socks on when he has shorts on
And
when
he
it's
just
cold
be like
outside.
this all day. The whole podcast is rubbing his feet. They be praying.
That's what he say. feet
Chantel.
praying. It's cool.
I understand.
It's good. Well, you know what? I appreciate you.
Yeah,
coming.
man. I don't want to keep you out here hella late. I know you got that hour drive.
I hope
do
I
have an
hope
hour.
it take you an hour to get home too.
Dang.
They probably will. It was traffic on the way up here.
For real? They doing road work then or something.
Hey, look, I appreciate
I
you and
do
all your
appreciate
smartness.
Thank you.
Hella smart.
And
Black girls rock.
Man,
So HBCU. So yeah, we're taking our son. He's turning 13.
look, she don't want to let you go.
Turning 13, and we're gonna go to. But he's like
He's smart like you.
crazy smart. He wants to be a scientist. He's like
He's extremely smart.
we be like
I can
looking
set
at
up y'all
each
tour
other.
for y'all.
Oh,
There's a
word?
human genome building there. It's amazing.
If y'all go, I want to go because you know I love DC.
Well, we still be like, why is he so smart? Like it'd be confusing to us sometimes as to why he's so smart. It's just like a natural for him. Anyway, and he just he's like an old soul, so he's like history and like all that stuff. So we want to go, let him go see Howard, and then go to the African Museum and all the
It's amazing.
Smithsonian's and see
I
all the
still haven't
monuments.
Make
We
sure
wanna
you
go,
like.
all
How long
that.
are you guys going?
How long we're gonna be there for?
Mhm.
I don't know. It's not till
Not till next
Oh
year.
yeah, next year. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was in the museum, the African Museum,
Mm-hmm.
all day, and I still didn't get through everything.
Damn.
Man,
That's
But
a lot.
you took time to read everything.
you got
just
to buy
scan.
your ticket beforehand.
you don't buy
though.
tickets.
No,
to
it's
go.
free.
It's free.
Oh, is it
It's
free?
just limited. But I figure by the time we go, it might be all.
It probably would be more done too,
Yeah.
because it's a lot in there. But there's a lot. Like the Oprah Theater wasn't finished when I went. And the food is slamming.
Is it? I can't wait. Like I'm excited to
Yeah,
go,
I'm
and it's just
excited.
gonna be him. We're not taking the little
I
one.
know we might take my goddaughter too.
Her, yeah. I was having a conversation with her. So she's in the 8th grade, and I was like, "So what do you want to do?" Because her sister's about to graduate. But I was like, "What do you want to do?" She was like, "I don't know. Maybe go somewhere out here." I was like, "You ever think about going to a HBCU?" She was like, "What's that?" And I told her. She was like, "I didn't even know that existed." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." How could you not know? But I get it. As Californians, we're not really exposed to any of that. Only reason why I was aware of it, because, I was in Willie B. And we got to go on the college tour and all that kind of stuff. But they don't got that. Like, if you're not in...
Willie B still doing it too.
Oh, Janine's going to be in Willie B.
Yeah,
we
put
just talked
9
about it.
Can
We
he
gonna,
be in Willie B?
he is. I got connects. Okay?
Yeah.
He
I
is.
was just.
She legacy.
Okay?
I just
You know what I'm
met
saying?
them the other day.
We gonna... I was like, we can make that trip out there once a week.
Yeah.
And he going to be an
It's birthday,
escort in the
too.
debutante ball. I'm just saying.
He could do Tanner out. Isn't it the Tanner Project out here?
I don't know
I
if
don't
you know.
think so.
No, it's Roe.
Man, well, let's let her go, man.
Oh,
She
I'm
got
sorry.
that hype,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
This is what we
My
do. We
bad.
just keep going and going.
Well, no, yeah, for
going.
sure. We could talk offline about Howard
All
for
right.
sure.
Or
You
Harry.
need to come with us. You can take us all around. You probably got some inside connects.
But
Yeah.
look, man, I just want to say once again, I really appreciate you coming down here,
Yeah.
telling your story. I'm pretty sure a lot of people gonna get inspired by this. And
For
Sure. We'll have all your info too on the.
I can roll it down for you.
okay.
So on Instagram, it's s.ladybugofficial. I'm at Yarn Movement everywhere, so that's IG. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, but I pay attention mostly to Facebook and IG, of course. My website is yarnmovement.com, and let's get back to those donations because I have a goal I have to hit, and I'm set out to hit it. So that's donate.yarnmovement.com. I'm pretty active. You hit me up, DM me, I'll respond.
Hella
Yeah.
For them
She-
custom yarn
She
pieces.
hella professional too. She had the dock all late and everything. But go ahead, keep going. Keep going. I feel so bad. I'm like, Doc, you are so unprofessional. But go ahead.
Yeah,
He's
and hit
taking
me
it at
up.
this point.
Hit me up and look
I'll
out.
just wait until it's over.
Look out for the next episode of Fly Girls.
I gotta check that out.
I'm gonna
Have you
be
done Taraji's yet?
yes. Chef Tirza. Yeah, shout out
Chef
to Chef
Tirza.
Tirza.
Yes. You've done Chef Tirza's already?
It's not on YouTube.
Not hers, not yet, but the show's on
The
YouTube. For
show's
sure,
on
yeah.
YouTube. Okay.
Fly Girls.
But yes, I'm saying her episode hasn't aired yet.
You want to see her episode?
I do want to see Chef
God.
Tirza's
She has a really good story.
episode. First of all, I'm just fascinated in cooking.
All right, man.
Speaking
Let her,
of-
let her go. Let her go, man. Let her go. Let her go, man. You got my girl out here all late night. It's about to be. She get home at 12 o'clock, man. All right. Well, once again, man, I'm gonna stop it for Tip. Ask something. Doc ask something.
Yeah, 'cause I had
Two
another
dudes
comment,
and a
but,
chick,
you know.
and we out. All right. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
You niggas is traitors, man. I just want y'all to know that.